Okay, so going into this chapter, it starts with Sugo, the spear hybrid, and the whip hybrid who are about to massacre all these people at this amusement park that Denji, Fumiko, and Yoda are still at, in an effort to get Denji to transform into Chainsaw Man again. And we actually see the spear hybrid talk for the first time, and this guy is wild, because he talks about how they're gonna target the women and the children to get better screams, and suggests that they go for the limbs to maximize the immediate feelings of loss. So yeah, this guy is like an absolute psychopath. And we see that Sugo, with this serious face, is just sweating buckets, because out of all the hybrids that we've seen so far who are a part of the Chainsaw Man Church, he was always the one who wasn't fully committed to it, and is just the most sane out of all of them. Because we learn the reason why so many hybrids are even a part of the Chainsaw Man Church, it isn't exactly because they even worship Chainsaw Man, it's because they actually feel that they're superior to regular humans, and they feel this way because of their abilities of being immortal, being stronger, and just having eternal youth, things that a regular human doesn't actually have. And we've seen a bit of banter with the Rip hybrid and the Spirit hybrid. She reveals that she'll actually be 82 years old, despite having the appearance of someone could be mistaken for a child. So this actually confirms that hybrids don't actually age a day after they went through the process of becoming part devil. So when QUANXI'S was quoted as being the first devil hunter in part 1, this very well could be the case given that crossbows have existed since 400 BCE, so this could actually potentially make QUANXI'S thousands of years old, which is just insane. We see Sugo looking at the clock before it hits 5 o'clock, which is the time that they're actually supposed to commit the massacre. And we see him look at a child and panic even more because he understands what he's doing just isn't right. And just before he can make a decision on what he's going to do, because just generally speaking, I don't think he was actually going to go through with it, the clock hits 5 and immediately all the hybrids get their limbs chopped off by none other than QUANXI'S, who just low diffs all of them. But Sugo was able to transform into Swordman just to be able to defend himself. But before we can see him fight against QUANXI'S, he just gets low diffed again by QUANXI'S effortlessly, and we get to see a look at QUANXI'S updated character design. And I gotta say, she's looking pretty good. I really like what Fujimoto did there with the eye patch. And we see once again QUANXI'S is working for public safety, although I'm betting it isn't out of the kindness of her heart, because if you remember in part 1, when Kishibe asked her initially to help him kill Makima and to save the world, well, she just blew him off. And maybe this time at the events of part 1, she had a major change in her character, from being a person who lives blissfully in ignorance when a problem occurs and doesn't do anything about it, to, well, actually doing something about it when it's presented to them. And in the next panel, we see QUANXI'S actually radios into the authorities confirming that the hybrids are down. We see that Special Division 7, which is a division that Fumiko is actually a part of, will be sent into the area after the media coverage, because in a major plot twist, we see that the Japanese government is using this event as a justification to raid the Chainsaw Man Church, by claiming that there was a gunman who was a part of the Chainsaw Man Church who shot up the department store. So apparently, somehow, someone leaked the Hybrid Devil's plan to public safety and just, well, the Japanese government. And it's kind of obvious that the Famine Devil Maid had something to do with this, considering that she's been playing both sides the entire time. I'm honestly not too sure why she would do this in the first place. Maybe to strengthen the War Devil in some way by causing a civil war in Japan. I honestly have no idea what her plan really is at this point. And then it switches on over to the Chainsaw Man Church, where we see one of the followers panicking because if they find the weapons in the basement, they could all be charged with treason. So yeah, apparently there are weapons in the basement. And let me know in the comment section down below why would it actually be charged with treason. Because from my understanding, treason, at least in the US, you can only be charged with it if you plan on betraying your country in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's different in Japan, but just let me know in the comment section just how exactly we get charged with treason in Japan. And we see Nobana and Haruka are freaking out because no one told them that they had any weapons in the church, which is kind of ironic considering that it's a church that also consists of devil hunters. I mean, you would need weapons in order to hunt the devil, so to me that just feels like a bit of a plot hole, but you know, whatever. And we see this guy tell Haruka to gather all the commentating followers to the prayer room, which I'm assuming is to defend against a raid that's coming from the Japanese government, which is probably going to go down next chapter. And when Haruka questions what's going on, this Chainsaw Man Church follower reveals that he's just in the dark as much as Haruka is, and that's how the chapter ends. And this is a really wild chapter that I wish was a lot longer, and it raises a lot of questions than it does actually answering them. And it definitely does leave so many plot points unresolved. Because we still have Baron, who's just sitting with Denji at the amusement park, and out of all the hybrids, he's definitely the most dangerous. I mean, in part 1, he held himself against Pochita a lot better than a lot of the other hybrids who were just getting low diffed. But he also has the most destructive hybrid form, and it's just the most insane out of all of them. So it would be really weird if after all of this, he just dips out of the area now that they have it locked down, or he just surrendered quietly. I'm guessing next chapter, if he does a switch on over to the Chainsaw Man Church fully, we might see Jump Saw Man with Baron fighting against Special Division 7, Fumiko, QUANXI'S, and Denji. Maybe even Kishibe too, because if QUANXI'S is around, well, Kishibe won't be far behind. At least he shouldn't, unless he's just the brains behind this entire operation. But let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comments section. If you guys liked the video, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys